Welcome to Ship Cover Lit, where we squeeze the bigger picture of literature. I'm Adrian Ford, and we are here for another short story discussion. I believe we're looking at 7 or 8 short story discussions in the short story discussion playlist at this point. Today's short story comes to us from Ray Bradbury. I have found it in the Oxford Book of American Short Stories, edited by Joyce Carol Oates. Joyce Carol Oates, of course, still pumping out 13 short stories per month that get picked up by major publications, so that someday Joyce Carol Oates can put together an entire collection of Oxford short stories from Joyce Carol Oates. But in this short story, There Will Come Soft Rains, what is it that happens? In the wake of a nuclear attack, an automated home goes through its progressions in Allendale, California, August 4th, 2026, until a branch falls through the kitchen window and causes a fire. I want to start here, actually. The reason this short story was kind of special for me, this is my first interaction with Ray Bradbury. I have never read anything from Ray Bradbury before. I know that he was a voluminous, Ray Bradbury died, I believe. Oh, maybe not. Born in 1920, it does not have a date for his death in here. Wrote tons of stuff, but I have never read any of it. I have never been prompted in any of my English classes to read any of it. There has never been anything that I have stumbled upon on my own. The only thing I really know about Ray Bradbury is how highly Stephen King talks about him in Danse Macabre, and I believe on writing as well. Let's see here. I thought he had passed. Yeah, he passed in 2012, June 5th, 2012. So, yeah. How long ago was this short story collection put together? Anyway, we don't have the actual citation of the thing which happened in this story. It is sort of left up to mystery, although there is a mention of radiation. Radioactive glow could be seen for miles. In addition to that, there are nuclear shadows on display in this story, and I think we even have a suspect those things both point to nuclear bomb going off. I think we even have a suspect to point to because of 2 separate clues here. Number 1, it's in California, which means it was probably the Midwest, because no one wants anything to do with California. No, it's in California, and the date that this is happening, the story is happening, is August 4th and 5th. I think that the culprit here would be Japan, because California proximity would be probably who Japan would go ahead and do this to, plus the fact Hiroshima and Nagasaki happened on August 6th and 9th, respectively. I think I've got that order correct. Not the history buff. But I think that is sort of pointing to the culprit being Japan here. This is man versus nature, and nature wins. Nature always wins. Technically, it's man versus man. But what we're doing here is man toying with science. Science gets out of hand. Nature therefore wins. It is man destroying man here before the short story starts. But it is the tree. So the fire is started by a branch falling through the kitchen window. When we have that happen here on page 480 of this collection, we have the fire breaking out. The house, which is automated, attempts to squelch the fire. Here we have this quote: "But the fire was clever. It had sent flame outside the house, up through the attic, and to the pumps There. An explosion. The attic brain which directed the pumps was shattered into bronze shrapnel on the beams. We have the fire characterized as clever. This is essentially the same type of story as is Jurassic Park. God creates dinosaurs, God kills dinosaurs, God creates man, man kills God, man brings back the dinosaurs. Here we have God makes radiation, God buries radiation, God creates man, man kills God / man. We have here a little bit of the, I can't remember where it is in the short story, but it's a very short story, by the way. But the people who had lived in the house are referred to, I believe, at one point as gods. So man destroys God, and man brings back the radiation. We have the natural order restoring itself because humankind was too damn short-sighted to go ahead and let the good things ride. Man decided, and I shouldn't say man, humankind decided to destroy humankind. But when you learn about the story types, no one ever says human versus nature. It's always man versus nature. So that's sort of ingrained in the back of your head here. Here's one thing I wonder about short stories like this. Oh, but my point was, for the fire being referred to as clever, it is giving the fire agency. So the fire itself being natural, caused by natural events, that is the natural order of things going ahead and destroying humankind, destroying the human things, destroying man-made objects, man-made culture, civilization, humankind. But what I want to know, because it works like this, and this is always the way it goes, it's the way it went in Frankenstein, it's the way it went in Jurassic Park. Are the works of humankind all that unnatural? The houses, the atom bombs, are they all that unnatural? That radiation, those radioactive elements, those elements themselves occur fairly naturally. Uranium-238, was that it? That is a rare compound, but I'm pretty sure that it is 235. Is that right? I'm pretty sure that it is naturally occurring. Uranium-235 is an isotope of uranium making up about 0.72 of all uranium. Unlike the predominant isotope uranium-238, it is fissile, i.e. it can sustain a fission chain reaction. It is the only fissile isotope that exists in nature as a primordial nuclide. So yes, it is a natural occurring thing. We, human people, just happened to manipulate it in just the right way to make it super deadly. Do you think if ants had storytelling culture, they would have such disdain for their own works as do humans? That's sort of strange, isn't it? Humans look at all of their creations as waste products, as unnatural. You have the scene in Fight Club where Tyler Durden is telling narrator about Times Square overgrown with vines and whatnot. It is a sign of destruction. Let's look at Congo, another Michael Crichton tale. The lost city, which is overgrown and overtaken, returned to the natural order of things. Do all creatures feel so guilty about their own cultures? Should we feel all this guilty about our culture? I'm not sure. I think that is an interesting thing to think about. I think that it seems to be this type of story in science fiction is cliche by this point. So cliche that here, I'm going to read to you the very opening chapter. In the living room, the voice clock sang tick-tock, 7 o'clock, time to get up, 7 o'clock, as if it were afraid that no one would. The morning house lay empty. The clock ticked on, repeating and repeating its sounds into the emptiness. 7-9, breakfast time, 7-9. That far in, I was pretty sure what we were getting. That far in, I kind of had a feel for what was going to be happening, kind of had a feel for what it was that was going to be foretold in this story. These stories have become completely cliche in the realm of science fiction, in the realm, I would say, of straight up literature. I don't think you have to delineate things into science fiction or non-science fiction in order to draw that conclusion. I think that when a short story is started in this fashion, there is a natural tendency to sort of forecast what's going to be told to you in a story. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be so easy, so quickly to foretell the rest of a 6-page story from, 4 lines there. But it is. Why? Why is that so? Why do we feel so guilty about our culture? Our cultural relics, our cultural icons. There is a disdain for Mount Rushmore. Would there be such disdain for Mount Rushmore if Mount Rushmore were turned into a domicile? If it were turned into living quarters? The same people who have such disdain for Mount Rushmore, do they have that type of disdain for the Petra, for rock carvings from previous epoch, for the Mayan pyramids, the Egyptian pyramids, for things like that? I don't know. I have to believe that this is a type of self-hatred born of a culture, and I don't think it's just Western. I'm not pointing that finger, though I think it's easy to, it would be easy to misconstrue what I'm saying in that fashion. I'm sure that these stories happen in all cultures, but I think it's because there is a sense of rue in today's world and a sense of self-hatred. And I think that certainly in the nuclear age, these sorts of things, when humankind got the power to blow up the entire world 7 times over, no one ever thought to think, hey, once would be enough, and we just kept going. I think that at that point, it is possible, maybe even necessary, to at least contemplate the fact that all things are in excess. And if all things, humankind, are in excess, including the capacity to murder, what hope does our culture have of passing anything useful onto the next cultures to come? Or will we just ruin it all and extinguish, stamp out, snuff out the possibility for any culture to come afterwards, for anything to come next? What's next? Maybe nothing. What's the old quote from Einstein? I don't know how World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones, right? Prophetic. Is it prophetic to have a forecast of August 4th, 2026 in California as completely abandoned? Maybe not. We'll see how close California itself gets in the next 5 years, leading up to then this being taped in 2021. So that is all I have for this short story discussion. Look, I've got new videos on the channel Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Mondays are for poetry. I also have new videos periodically on my personal channel, a link to which can be found in the description below. I hope to see you here for the next video, and I hope to see you over on my personal channel as well.